Hello, friend. I hope you're well. This is Olivier speaking. I'm going to be taking you through some background and a presentation that I will split up into 2 or 3 short presentations about the cryptocurrency revolution and what it is that I have found out, what my results have been, and what my outlook on the near future is. What I'm going to share with you has completely revolutionized my perspectives about my financial future and about my involvement with Bitcoins. If you are where I was about 2 or 3 months ago, I knew that I absolutely had to get involved with Bitcoins, even though I didn't understand it. Everybody was talking about it, and at the time I even felt like I had missed the wave. And that I had to kind of look very quickly at other cryptocurrencies in order to see where I could plug in because the rise of a price of a Bitcoin was really meteoric. And it had gone from about 60,000 to 80,000, and then it had broken through the 100,000 Rand mark. And so I was looking at this in shock and thinking, even if I wanted to get involved in Bitcoins, how in the world was I going to catch up to it? It was certainly not by putting away 1,000 Rand or 2,000 Rand every now and then, maybe 5,000 Rand into a wallet, that I was going to catch up to 100,000 Rand worth of a single Bitcoin. And so I began to look for what I refer to as entry points. I was looking for strategies. I was looking for people who had more than just a wallet into which they were making some small deposits. I really needed something that had the power to catch up to and overtake the price of a Bitcoin. And my goal now is, by the end of 2018, one of my goals is to own 10 Bitcoins. If the price of a Bitcoin remains around 100,000, which is very unlikely, it is very likely to keep climbing, then I would need at least 1 million odd rands to own 10 Bitcoins. If you had told me this about 2 3 months ago, I would have said to you that you're insane. And now I can assure you that I will own 10 Bitcoins by the end of 2018, regardless of what the price of a Bitcoin does and how aggressively it keeps on rising. I now have a vehicle that can definitely catch up to a Bitcoin and overtake it so aggressively that I will own and I will be buying single Bitcoins at a time in order to get to my 10. So again, just some background, I'm going to be taking you through a presentation that I call Quantum Crypto Trades. This is simply the name I've given it. And the reason that I put together this presentation very quickly is because a friend of mine, a biker from the US who lives here in Johannesburg with his family, contacted me on Facebook saying that he had seen that I've had made a few mentions about Bitcoins. His son is talking about Bitcoins all the time, but they're not really clear about it. They don't really have a good idea of what this thing is and how to go about it. And so he invited me for a few beers so that I could speak to his son, especially, but also to him and his wife, about what the hell Bitcoins are and what the hell am I doing that I seem to be so excited and confident. And so I decided then to put together this presentation because of the respect that I have for him, and I didn't want to arrive at his house unprepared. And so I spent a few evenings putting together this presentation. And after I showed it to him and his wife and his son, everybody was very excited and everybody was very relieved of how that information had been presented to them and the way that I had gone about it. So much so that a few days later they said they're ready to take the next step and to get going. And so I subsequently created some other presentations that are step-by-step guides to how to get started, how to start with a wallet, how to make your first investment. But I did not create originally this presentation with the intention of sharing it with many other people, because you will realize after what I'm going to show you that even if I never spoke to another single human being about what I'm doing, I would still become hugely successful and my goal would still be achieved. So this is not one of those things where you have to go out and share it with other people for it to work. If you like what you're hearing and what I've put together for you, and if you get involved and never speak to another soul about what you're doing and what you know about Bitcoins, you will become as successful as what I will become. through these investments. And so I came across this particular entry point because, again, through Facebook, I had seen some friends of mine make some mentions of their own about being paid in bitcoins. And the amount of bitcoins that they were receiving was huge. And I thought, how is it that they're getting paid so many bitcoins if the price of a bitcoin is close to 100,000? At the time, I think it was in the 80,000 rand range. And I thought, how is it possible that now you get paid multiple of these things in one go? And so I got together with them. They explained to me what they were doing. And I thought, it's very exciting, but it's too good to be true. I have one option now, but I'm going to keep my ears to the ground and I'm going to search for other options. And very quickly, a few weeks later, I saw another friend of mine posting about the bitcoins that she was earning, and I asked her to sit down with me, and to my shock, she was speaking to me about pretty much the same thing as the first ones, even though the actual vehicles, the means or the engines that they were using to receive these bitcoins were in different geographical locations. So the first ones were talking to me about this vehicle in the US that they were using, and she was talking to me about this vehicle in South Africa. But they were saying the same thing. It was the same strategy. It was the same words that I was hearing, and that's when I decided I have to get involved. So what you're seeing now, called quantum crypto trades, is just the way I go about referring to it, as I've now incorporated it as part of my company, which is called Southern Bluefields Advisory Group. This is a part-time company because I am fully employed, and so I work in the power sector for an international EPC contractor and power developer. But on a part-time basis, I've got this company of my own, and so I have branded it Quantum Crypto Trades. But you'll see, you can call it what you want. It doesn't matter. And so I'm going to be taking you through that, and by the end of it, if you like what you see, which is very likely, then let's join us and let's make some money.